Hello, my love, and welcome to the Kalisatra Pleasure Podcast. I am so pumped because we just finished recording the very first one that you're about to listen to. And we did it with my dearest sister, Elle. Now, Elle is a yoga teacher, a sound healer, a dancer, and she is so connected with her pleasure. She just moves with this beautiful feminine grace out in the world and has really inspired me to be more public about my weird, witchy, wonderful things that I love doing inside of my house. It's been such an honor and an inspiration to have this new sister, new friend, and dear friend in my life. So I can't wait for you to be by our sides in this conversation. Feel free to get involved in the comments. We're sending you all the love and enjoy. This is my beautiful sister, everyone. And Elle, I'd love you to tell us a little bit about who you are, just a background,
cool.
Anything you'd like to share, just to let us know.
Nice. Hi, Mel. I do sound, movement, and breath are my three pillars, I guess, of my being and how I like to give that to other people. So yeah, I do sound healing. And I do workshops, movement workshops and ecstatic dances, and make music, do breath work. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Just living life.
yes, definitely. And of course, we're on the Pleasure Podcast, so we're discussing what pleasure is in your life.
Yeah.
And I'd love to ask you what pleasure means to you.
What pleasure means to me? Okay. That's such a big question, but also not. What pleasure means to me? I mean everything. I try to involve pleasure in every aspect of my life.
Yeah.
Like, how can I feel pleasure in every single moment of life? Just like feeling everything as a sensation, and can I enjoy that sensation?
Okay.
So whether that's an emotion, a physical sensation, or how can I just like make life as orgasmic as I possibly can.
Okay. And what's coming to mind? Yeah, okay. Just to make that tangible as well for people, what comes to mind when you're speaking about that?
What comes to mind?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
In what areas of your life are you thinking about that, making that orgasmic feeling come through?
I mean, the goal is every moment.
Mm.
So even if something is this is a good. So I've been seawater swimming recently, and this has been massive for me because I used to always have like not a fear of being cold, but just a hatred for it. Just like the sensation of being cold, I could never sit with.
Yeah,
it's just very uncomfortable. But I've really been trying to change that mindset. And like, can I change my mindset from like, I hate this is awful, it doesn't feel good, or can I change that conversation in my head to it's just a sensation, how can I enjoy this sensation on my skin? Like, it's interesting, and being in the water, not thinking about it, you just like walk into the water, cool, what am I feeling right now? And changing the conversation in your head to be like, okay, this ain't that bad. Like, I'm breathing, I can do this. It's giving me lots of strength and pleasure in ways that I thought that I would never be able to in that area of my life.
It's
massive.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously pleasure crosses over a lot with sex, and for me, when you're speaking about that, what comes to mind is how honestly my relationship with BDSM has kind of had that same kind of reframing of sensation on my skin.
Nice.
Like the classic pain pleasure.
Yeah, for sure. But it's the same with the cold.
Wire crossing. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and I found that now when I go swimming, there's part of me that's like, that is a thrill. Like that, when I get in the sea and get out of the sea, I feel like I've just come off a roller coaster.
It's so true.
It's like, woo!
It's so true. Wow.
And it's kind of horrible. There's part of me that, like, before I go in, there's fear and anxiety that comes through. But of like getting cold and like the sore pebbles, because the Brighton beach is just really pebbly. If you don't know Brighton, it's so horrible when your feet are numb and you come out and it's just like ice blocks.
But okay, so where can you enjoy that experience?
Well, this is what I'm saying. Like, all of this is going on, and what in the past I would have just been like hating that whole thing, but I've got now to a point with pleasure where like I can find the joy in that and like see the silliness and also the dopamine hit that I get from conquering a challenge that I feel is hard.
I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. And also like knowing the health benefit of the whole thing and just the energetic wash that I'm getting, the salt detox, the whole thing. Just I get out and I'm just like, yeah, I smashed something today. I did something.
Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm all for that. I feel exactly the same.
Yeah,
it's such a it's really changed a lot of I can't in my head to I can.
Yeah.
Big time.
Absolutely. Yeah, and yeah, we've talked about this. I've been on a big journey with the I can, I can't thing. And it's really in the last couple of months it's come through a lot, and sea swimming's really helped with that. But also in a sexual context as well, having experiences recently that have kind of reframed this whole area for me, because I really had to step away from BDSM because it had been something that had got really dark and shadowy, and things had been taken advantage of, and consent wasn't really, it just all wasn't like, it was all just quite toxic. So I had to step back from it completely, even though like part of me knew that there was still part of me that was turned on by it, and I knew it was like something I wanted to experience. I had to completely come away from it. And then as I've calmed down my nervous system with all these different practices that I've done over the last few years on my healing journey, coming back into that space of BDSM with
you've got a new
a whole new outlook.
Nice.
Like my nervous system's calm, I have a voice where I can express what I want out of the situation. So that that sensation on my skin of, you know, whatever it may be, spanking, whatever, slapping, it feels really great now, whereas it used to be quite triggering, and it's so amazing not to have that coming through anymore, and just to really transmute that pain into pleasure through more pain and more pleasure and more pain and more pleasure is great.
Wow, amazing. That's so cool that you've come back to it with that new framework. Beautiful. I love that. So we've kind of touched on this a little bit here, but I was going to ask you, what has been important in increasing your pleasure? So you've said a little bit about the I can. Big time. I think specific rituals and like ceremonies are massive in that. Pleasure in the mirror. Magical, mystical, amazing lessons have come from just being with self in ceremony, and like hours of how deep can it go? It's interesting.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
I feel like I kind of get what you're touching on, because I've had my own experiences in that. But I'm interested to hear more specifically what you're actually talking about, if you're willing to dive into that.
Yeah, please. Okay, nice. Pleasure play in masturbation in the mirror, I think is incredibly powerful.
Okay, I've never done that, so I'm very interested.
Talk
me through it. Talk me through it, and I'll set a date.
Make it nice. Make a space. You know, create your. If you're feeling in a sexy mood, feeling like you're, I don't know.
Well, my mirror is here off camera, so imagine it's here. What's the setup? Talk me through the whole, the whole thing.
So maybe something soft, mood lighting, but daytime is also great. Like if you were to move the mirror here and just have full sunshine, that would be just like nice afternoon. But if we're doing like nighttime, set the mood lighting, incense, you know, cleanse the space. And then I don't know. For me, it would start with touch, but I'm a very touchy, physical person.
Okay.
So I think per person, it would look different. And like the journey of how you get to your self-pleasure state.
What does it look like
for
you?
For me, it's touch, it's singing or like humming or like, I don't know, tapping on myself, like making music almost. And then that will go into touch play, and then that would go into sexuality, and then into the heavens. Yeah.
I love your relationship with sound, how that comes through in your sexuality. I think that's really interesting. It's something I've been playing with in my own practice.
Nice.
My own self-pleasure practice, where I've been trying to, because I think I've only ever really made sound when I was younger for the other person, because I thought that boys wanted to hear me moan.
Sure.
Essentially. So that's where my kind of journey with sound and sex started. And then going into more of like an empowered sexual place where I'm not performing, I was like, well, I'm not gonna moan like for you, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm just gonna lie here, not silently, but like there was a bit of a like, I'm not doing this for you, like. So again, it was a stepping back from that, and then coming back into it from a realization of like how good it feels to just vibrate your body through sound, and coming at that through mantra and just omming, like, and how nice that feels. But no.
Oh my god. Okay.
What? Just omming.
Just like, so lying here when you're having omming, beautiful. If you're like, when you're lying in the bath and you're surrounded by water, and if you just do, normally a low hum has more of a vibration that goes into the water. But just come into a hum, like a really low hum in the water. And you can feel the vibrations of the water. If you really drop in, it's beautiful.
Holy
shit,
I'm so excited.
And then you can go into self-pleasure.
Okay. I love that.
That's a great way to drop in, for sure.
Yeah. And I really relate to dropping in through touch. So I'll usually start even just like not my sexual areas, and then it would move to breasts, thighs. I love touching my thighs. That really is just such a like. Again, it reminds me of being a teenage girl and having like a boy put their hand on your leg and you're like, oh my gosh!
Wow, that's so true.
It just sends me back there every time. I'm just like, ah.
Nice.
So I love the idea of bringing the sound into that, especially in the bath. That's really nice. And there's such a bigger release that comes with that, I've found.
Yeah, and also your womb is connected to your throat. Like there's this whole conversation going on. Like, have you ever seen them side by side? The anatomy of it.
Yeah, but explain.
Yeah. It's oh wow. The shape of what's this called? The anatomical name? I don't know.
I think it's the thorax or the esophagus.
The throat area. The muscle of it, the tendons, of the throat, and then the muscle and the organ of the sex organ, the wombs, the space, the uterus, the help me,
ovaries.
And the space of it, the shape of it, they really match each other, and they have very similar anatomical shapes, and like the way that they expand, the way that they contract, the way that they work. There's lots of conversation. And I think energetically, there's definitely a connection between holding tension in the two spaces.
And just to expand on that on a biological level, there's two things. Yes. So remind me if I forget. So there's the vagus nerve and then the sphincters. So vagus nerve runs all through your body. It's a massive nerve and it actually connects the throat and the jaw and the diaphragm and everything. So that is physically connected. So when we like vibrate and relax this area, we vibrate and relax the whole body.
Cool.
Yeah. And the other thing is that your sphincters, I think I'm saying that right, are all connected, and these include your mouth, your anus, your vaginal opening, and I think your cervix as well. I could be wrong on the cervix, but essentially when any of them are tight, they're all tight.
Wow. Cool.
So when you like,
There you go, it makes sense.
Yeah. Like, have you ever, I don't know if you've been one of these people, but a lot of women walk around like squeezing their vagina and their ass subconsciously, just like out of like a stress response.
Wow.
And it takes like conscious relaxing. Have you noticed that ever?
I've always been, are you talking about pelvic floor?
Just generally, like,
or just like
the whole the whole pelvic area. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's definitely a thing.
Yeah.
100%. And also, like, physically, then it comes out into like how much movement and how much freedom in space and in movement that somebody has. I think that also has a massive part of it all.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Tension, you know, within the muscle, within all of your beautiful inside divinity portal. Definitely the physical can hold some tension, as well as energetically.
So what has, you know, you've got a massive dance background and so studied dance at university and studied yoga in India as well.
Yeah.
Any other physical things I don't know about?
Physical things, no. I've been dancing all my life. I went to dance school, I did a bit of work, and then I kind of moved into the yoga world. I did my training, and then just been dancing and spreading the movement love, basically.
Yeah. So within that space then, let's bring dance and pleasure and sexuality together. Movement. So how do I put that into a question? Or does something just come to mind? Help me out. How has dance and sexuality and movement kind of been connected for you?
Cool. Okay, so I think this comes with like rituals. Okay, this is interesting.
Yeah.
So I was watching a what was it? Oh, it was a TV show about pleasure. They were talking about the rocking of the pelvis and like this movement. So it kind of started this relationship for me, the journey of breath and movement. And I went through a long time of just accepting. I had quite a like toxic relationship to dance in my head, and to drop into the dance of my breath is enough, and like this constant, like just the movement of life, right?
Can you put more words to that to explain that for people that maybe haven't felt that sensation, like the dance of I know it's a really hard thing to put words to, putting you on the spot there.
So if you focus on your breath, your body is moving somewhere. For everybody, it sits in a different place. It could be in your chest, expanding outwards, or it could be in your ribs, or potentially in your belly. Where do you feel the breath within your body? Where is that movement? And when you pinpoint it, just observing the movement that it's doing. Is it moving slow? Is it moving fast? That is the movement of life. Because it's just your body existing. It's just there, but it's dancing. It's dancing with life. Yeah.
Well, first of all, thank you for sharing that practice again for the second time today. It's been beautiful to drop into.
Yeah.
We did this earlier, and I was saying it's been a long time since I've really thought about all the different places the breath comes in the body, because when you've been practicing breath work for a long time, you tend to really focus on the abdominal region or it coming in through the nose and sensitizing this area, because you've trained yourself away from chest breathing and these short, sharp breaths. So to bring the attention actually back to the chest and back to the rib cage. And what I actually really loved about what you did in the practice earlier was saying bringing your chest up to the heavens. And it kind of reframed this, like, I almost feel like I'm like not allowed to breathe in my chest.
Yeah, so this is what the dance industry did to me as well. That I'm only allowed to breathe into my back.
Yeah.
Like that's the only way that is allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to unwind that shit.
Yeah. To open that up.
Relate.
I love that.
Yeah, just up to the heavens and then melt down to Pachamama.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that so much.
But it's that's what it is. It's inviting the movement into the space. Like this is okay. So this is where breath kind of led into movement for me, which then led into pleasure for me. Is through allowing the exploration of breath and how that feels within my body, to then see if that could be expanded into bigger movements. So like, how can I use breath to like radiate out of all of my limbs, right? And I don't know, dancing it's so freeing. It could be so many things. That's why I like to say movement.
Yeah.
I really connect to that word because it's so vast of what it is. Like it could be breath. That's the zero, right?
Yeah.
And then it could be the other end of the spectrum, but it has so many things in between that. So movement, and then from movement it then led into I kind of went into this headspace of like, how can I get pleasure in every single moment?
Yeah, okay.
And I like really tested myself with that, like how can I and then that's when I started to kind of invite dance back into my field again. Yeah. Because I took a little break. Yeah. But yeah, it feels good to be to really fall in love with like body and like sensuality and owning that I'm sexy. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Like fuck, I hate all of that bullshit. Like, it's fucking bullshit. Like to just go up to a sister and be like, you fuck. Like, I want to give you love because I know that I'm sexy. We were talking about this yesterday. Yeah. And, big time resonated. Yeah. But, there's something super cool. And then, like, being able to, I know I have awareness of my body. I know what my body is saying. I can listen to it. Yeah. And I respect it. Yeah. And, I don't know, bringing that into pleasure as well is massive. Like, I'm listening, like, how are we gonna do this today? Yeah. And it's just reminding me as well of what you said earlier about what pleasure really is being able to have, and presence really, what that is as well, is being able to have conversations going on and also be really aware of what's going on in your body and how your body's feeling. That really spoke to me, because I'm like kind of aware of that, but I haven't really pinpointed it so succinctly as that. And I'm really gonna remember that and drop into my body more because of that. Nice. That was really powerful for me. Cool. Yeah. Good. I'm glad. Yeah. Fuck yeah. Yeah. Yeah, that's a powerful one. I think, well, that's what I was saying, embodiment, that's like what it means to me. I actually don't know what the dictionary like definition is of what embodiment, but I know so strongly what it means to me. Yeah. But it's being in your body. It's being as simply as that. Yeah. Well, the mind being connected to the body. I think. Exactly. Yeah. But it being just to really being able to think with your body rather than thinking with your mind. Like, what's the conversation between the two? Yeah. Or in some ways having like different minds in different areas, so you're listening from all different places, not just and like instinct as well. Yeah. Oh, my belly is doing something, or the energy in here is a bit, okay, I think I'm gonna go. Do you know what I mean? Like you know. Yeah. Like just trust. Yeah. That's like all that it is. Yeah. And I think creating the mental space for that as well, like it was funny, we were walking along the road with these beautiful flowers earlier, and one had fallen, and I didn't see it fall, I didn't feel it fall, anything like that, but I just felt that one had fallen. And I only had the space for that because I was conscious and in my body and listening, and I just had like a bit of a moment of like, something feels off, but I didn't really realise I was listening to my instinct until Elle said,
what did you say? I can't remember now. You said like, did you just feel that? That's what you said. You said, did you just feel that? And I was like, yeah, I actually.
Yeah, you like turned to me and you were like, what did you say? I think I've lost a flower.
Yeah, I was like, I think there's one missing, and then I like counted them, and I was like, yeah, there is one missing.
And I was like, okay, cool. So let's fix it. You turned around, you found it.
Yeah.
Came back and I just said, did you feel it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I did it. It wasn't something I saw. It wasn't something I heard. I didn't feel it on my skin. I just felt that something was off, and this was really important to me.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have cared if it was like something random, but the fact that I really wanted to have these flowers beautifully here for this experience. I was like, something's missing.
Listening to the signs, listening to the synchronicities of it all, like,
yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
And trusting, that's so massive. Just like, okay, cool, surrender to it.
Yeah, and that's what's so validating about being around each other and all the beautiful people in the women's circle last night with Raki. And Elle, which was a beautiful space. Yeah, we'll link to some of those things that you offer and the things that we offer, which we'll mention at some point. But
yeah, baby.
Yeah, where was I going to go with that?
You were talking about Raki's circle. We were talking about
just validating each other's experiences. So validating that, oh yeah, that actually was my instinct, and it's not just some woo-woo wacky thing that I think happens, but I'm not really sure if it does happen. It's like, yeah, sister, you did that. Like, yeah,
and
really seeing each
also
other.
the cosmic joke of it when you're like, okay, no, fuck, I'm just crazy.
Yeah, like
that's
no
also
self-delusion.
fine. Like, that's also fucking hilarious. Like, it's the cosmic joke, right?
Yeah, but so important as well, because you can become really self-delusional and like get a bit lost.
Lessons,
yeah,
right? Yeah. It's the like, all right, don't get too cocky.
Yeah, absolutely. So I want to switch gears a little bit here.
Cool.
And ask you where pleasure has been really important to kind of get you through some shit, or like where it's been a real challenge to maybe have it in your life as well. Just
nice.
Yeah, some of the those aspects.
Cool, good question. I think talking about the rainbow, the spectrum of pleasure and what that looks like. I think tenderness is a massive thing that I have introduced into my world, which I didn't always have, or didn't have in the capacity that like I can hold. And living the slow life, trusting the ride of the orgasm, I guess. Just like the ups, the downs, the wave of life, right? And I think being able to feel every emotion, but seeing if, like, being gentle with yourself, and can you hold yourself, and can you it's funny because as a single woman I perhaps a partner, or do you know what I mean, you can find these tender moments of sensuality and touch, or whatever that love language, however that is for each person. But I think pleasure can definitely come in. I mean, it can be a lifesaver. Do you know what I mean? When you're feeling super shit, there's so many benefits to a hug. There's so many benefits to like just being held. Yeah. So the pleasure spectrum has definitely got me through some times, for sure.
When you say the pleasure spectrum, do you mean the different sort of little types of pleasure, or do you mean, what do you mean, like the pain pleasure spectrum?
Both. Yeah, both. I was referring to the first, but the second is also very relevant, for sure. That's it as well. I mean, with physical pain, I think is, actually, I don't know, that's interesting. I've never I've never tried to use pleasure to make me like not sad. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense?
So you've never used pleasure as like a coping mechanism?
Yeah, exactly.
Really?
Okay. So you're making me doubt myself.
Like you've never like...
Give me an example.
I don't know, like being a bit sad and had some chocolate or...
Okay, fuck. Yeah, okay.
What do you mean?
About sex.
Right, okay, so you've never... Right, okay.
I'm talking about like self-pleasure.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so you've
Okay,
never
but
been
chocolate,
really sad. You've
fuck
never
yeah.
been like crying and being like, I'm going to masturbate. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
Okay,
There's like
yeah,
a time
fair.
and a place, right?
Yeah, no, so it's not the right headspace. Okay, we're on the same page. We're on the same page.
Nice, that was fun. We went on a little spiral. Yeah, but okay, then in the first aspect of talking about the different pleasure things, then yeah, food definitely plays in.
Yeah.
But I think, and also you get so much pleasure from taste itself. Like eating is sexy.
Yeah.
Like it's such a great experience.
Yeah.
And cooking as well. I'm really getting into cooking.
Yeah.
And like the process of like being able to taste each time that you've like leveled up in the dish, you're like, oh,
it's
this
better.
And then you're like, what does it need? And then it's like, yeah. And then every time you taste it, it's just like more fucking greatness in your mouth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So eating is massive.
Yeah.
On the pleasure scale for sure.
Definitely, and this is one of the pleasure pillars is to diversify, and that's really important to find enjoyment in the little things in loads of different areas, so that you're not too head first into one area and don't end up using it as a really strong coping mechanism. That's definitely something I've done, addictive personality for sure. And it's been such an amazing thing to wake up to all the other things. Like I don't have to rely on chocolate and sugar or smoking, or they're essentially the two things that I really have struggled with in the past. And to wake up to like nature walks and hanging out with my friends and really being able to be present in all of these things and really enjoy them. Has been huge. And what it does to the brain is basically when you dive headfirst into like sex all the time or alcohol all the time, it gives you a huge dopamine hit each time that happens. So it actually becomes really difficult to enjoy going for a walk or having a chat with a friend or doing these smaller things, because you're only getting a little dopamine hit. And you've essentially woken up all these dopamine receptors that to like facilitate all of this extra dopamine coming in. So when they've all like kind of woken up and been like, hey, we're ready to be fed, and then you're no longer giving them these big hits, you're only giving them little things, they're like starving, and they start to die off and they get really cranky and send you messages that we need a big dopamine hit. And that's,
how did you learn that?
Healing addiction, to be honest.
Amazing.
Once I needed to like understand the
biology of it.
Or the neurology. That's
sure.
That's the right word. Again,
amazing.
I'm not sure on the
that's
right
so
words.
Interesting.
But yeah, understanding that really helped me learn again as well that you only need to get through a bit of a period, and those receptors never completely go away, but they'll become dormant. So then the walks out, the all the other kind of smaller diversified things, having like an almond is like way more exciting than it used to be, because you've shut off all these extra ones and there's not so many to be fed now. That makes sense in the analogy.
Cool. Music is also a massive thing. And the taste, music is a massive one of mine. Like my music then leads into movement, because if there's a banger on, I'm gonna get up and dance. Do you know what I mean? Like how can exactly. And there's like music, I find, brings so much. It can change a space so fast. Like it can change a vibe and energy or whatever that looks like. But like, music is powerful. And I think, you can have the space when you're set up by yourself, or you have the space when it's like, let's dance. So movement, music, breath. Soaking it all back.
Yeah, well, it makes me think as well about the creation process that we went through, making the playlist for I'm gonna plug it, the sexuality workshop.
Yeah, nice.
Ecstatic dance event that we're running on the 22nd of July. Links will be in the notes as well. But that creation process of making the playlist, like we were sat there making it, but we weren't making it with our minds, we were making it with our bodies. Like we were feeling like, how does this make me want to move? Like, am my hips moving? Am I like, oh yeah? Or am I kind of like, or like, is it a bit too slow, flowy? But I really noticed that as we were making it, it was very much like, okay, how does this feel? How does this make me want to move? And that was, really interesting to link those two together. And I'm now linking it back to the sound and the sexuality. And that's just becoming so much clearer. I've never really thought about this, but yeah, wow. It's powerful to bring that sound in.
Big time.
So where does that play into sexuality for you in other areas, the sound?
In sexuality?
I'm thinking specifically of like building to orgasm. That was the question I wanted to ask.
Vocal sound?
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck, why not?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Do you think it helps though to like the sound? What's your relationship with that being?
For me, yes. I like the sound of breath. It's not always, massive moans and like and all of that stuff. But I definitely think inviting voice into it. Or again, humming actually. Not humming, moaning.
That kind of
but do you know what I mean? Like allowing that to also be there to like heighten the experience. Why can't I add more to this experience? I'm gonna grab some coconut oil. Like let's heighten this experience. Like how can we make this? Like
why not? And this has actually been huge for me going into. I don't know. I've actually got off track a little bit with this, and it's made me come back to it. But going into everything with the mindset of, if this was the last time I ever got to do this, how would I set up my space?
Nice.
How present would I be? Who would I want to have in the space with me? Obviously the scenario would bring up a load of different questions, but going into like masturbation or a sexual interaction with a partner of if this is the last orgasm I ever have, or scrapping that as well, the pressure of the orgasm, like if this is the last time I ever touch myself or I'm ever
so important
intimate, I really want to touch on this. Like am I going to regret just like constantly trying to build to the orgasm and stressing out about that? Like would I rather just make this a super sensual amazing experience and never get interrupted and the world ends? Like
that's what's meant to be. Exactly. I agree. Definitely. Just like honoring the moment and just being like, I don't know, riding the wave of it. Like it doesn't always have to climax. I think that's also a really important lesson of just like the if you're talking with a partner, for example, this idea of was I talking to you about this?
Probably.
And Sean. No, I don't know. But yeah, probably. The idea of when you're in a partnership, this idea of like, okay, I've come, now is you're gonna come now, do you know what I mean? Like back and forth of like evening the playing field. But how much pleasure can you get in giving? How much pleasure can you get in receiving? Everything that you give will come back to you. And I don't know, it was a very interesting back and forth of like the play. I guess, once it goes into a long-term relationship, there's a conversation that happens every time which kind of changes the dynamic of sex for sure, because you know what each other wants by that point. But bringing it back to self-pleasure, which is where I'm at.
Single woman.
Single woman, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what I was saying. I've lost it.
It's
gone. I don't know what was happening.
Okay. Well, Elle actually has to meet a friend
I haven't checked the time.
who is a little bit poorly, so let's have a time check.
Wow. Was that instinct?
What time is it?
What was that instinct?
Yeah. Bang on! Oh my goodness.
That is crazy.
I'm a witch.
Amazing.
That is actually bang on. I'm impressed.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Thank you. Right.
Universe is feeding
Yes.
through you, baby.
Okay, well this was so much fun, and I feel like we're definitely going to do this again. There's so much that we haven't touched on, and I'd love to dive deeper, but yeah, thank you so much for coming on. I love you so much.
I love you. Give me a cuddle.
Oh, I just can't wait for our whole journey. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Right.
22nd of July.
Yes.
Be there, babies.
Yeah.
We're going to dance it all up.
It's going to be fun. Thank you so much for watching, listening, wherever you are. Sending you so much love. Bye.
Peace and love.
Wow.
Yeah, nice.
Thank you so much for listening to our podcast. Now, I really quickly want to give you a bit more information about our ecstatic dance sexuality workshop that we're running. It's on the 22nd of July. It's only £22 to join. It's from 7 till 9 p.m. in the studio, and it really is going to be a collection. It's mixed gender, so everyone is welcome. We're going to be really dropping into our bodies with Elle, and then doing some big awakening orgasmic practices with myself, and then just letting loose and going wild and really just dancing like nobody's watching, literally, but all witnessing each other and being seen in our sexuality in a safe space where it's okay to express that and not feel unnerved by any of the things that can happen when we're expressing our sexuality out in public in normal society, unfortunately. So we are creating this space for you to just express your raw primal sexuality, both in a feminine, masculine, balanced sense all around, and we'd just so love to witness you, see you there, and have a really fun time with you. So I'd love to see you there. Again, check out the ticket link in the show notes. And yeah, hope to see you there. If not, I'm sending you all the love in the world. Thank you so much for listening, and I will see you next time. Bye for now.